I was saying to Bill earlier that basically since I've been here, like I feel like I've encountered more people, and it's not just having like a talk or that kind of an interaction, just literally passing by more people than I have an entire year of living in LA. And that energy is just incredible, and it makes me like the possibilities of living here is like so different to other areas of the world, and particularly what I have been experiencing in the last 3 years. And it's just so funny. I kind of just love the feeling of being able to just strike up a conversation with someone. And that's just kind of been happening a lot. I'll just get on the train and sit down, and then the person next to me just starts chatting to me, and I'll have a conversation the entire train ride. And it's just cool being able to like share stories and hearing other people's like life, what they're doing and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Robbie told me like a really interesting story and an experience that you had in Harlem, like at at the skate spot 125th and 5th. You know that like
Which
those
one is
green blocks. It's like three green blocks.
Yeah.
Like, so for those who don't know, Harlem is a predominantly like African American area. This area is specifically like this spot is surrounded by projects as well. And like
the hood, as you say.
Harlem banter is like generally like, for lack of like a better term, it's like ball busting, like rib poking. It's like, oh, look at this motherfucker, right? You know what I mean? Type. Excuse my French, but it's like, look at this guy right here, And so Robbie had a pretty interesting encounter that I thought it would be cool if you wanted to share that.
Yeah. So like we basically, me and John Jenkins got to the spot early, and it was he and I just sitting kind of waiting for the other guys to turn up, and there were these 3 guys just kind of behind us like hanging out, and they were like, yo, and I turned around and I was like, hey, what up? Like, those skates, rollerblades? And I was like, yeah, and they're like, yeah, sick. And then I just decided to like get up and just go over to them, and I had one skate on actually, so I hopped over on my skate, and then I showed them my skate, and they're like, damn, like I remember when I got into skating was like 20 years ago. And then like just had like a really nice conversation with the guys, like talking about skating, talking about I'm from Australia. And then I was like, hey, what have you been up to today? You're just hanging out. They're like, yeah, we're getting we're just getting drunk. So they were drinking at the time, but they were having a good time. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, all right, that's cool. It's a nice day. Yeah. And kept talking, and one of the guys, his name was Scrappy. He
yes.
very, very nice fellow.
The story got really good really fast.
Yeah, it's a great story.
I think he was in his 50s, looked very, very good for his age. And
Nice.
so he goes to me, he's like, would you like to drink some Jameson with me? You drink Jameson? I was like, I mean, I really don't drink very often, like at all. But, it's like in those moments, I was just like, sure, man. Like, oh, yeah, I'll drink some with you. And he's like, all right, you keep skating, I'll get you later. And I was like, I didn't really think anything of it, because I thought like maybe he would just, go off and it would just amount to nothing. Yeah. But literally, he came back like 30 minutes later, and he'd bought a brand new bottle of Jameson whiskey from a liquor store, obviously.
What?
And he's like, all right, you go get the cups. So I went across the. I was like, all right, he's actually done this, right? So I went across the street, and I got these, just plastic cups. Came back. And I'm like, all right, cool. We'll just have a shot. And what I didn't realize is because I thought he was just going to go upstairs and grab his bottle and come back or something. Yeah. He goes to the store, buys a brand new one, but he didn't just buy it for himself. He bought it to actually give to me to take away.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, oh no, Scrappy, that's so nice of you, but it's for real. I don't drink, it's very rare. This is going to take me a year. Yeah. And these lovely ladies who were around him, like one of them was like, at one point, she's like, no, you got to take this from him, honey, because like he's trying to do a really nice thing for you. Like he wants to give this, and in that moment I realized, I was like, man, Scrappy, that's so nice of you, dude. Like I'm seriously like, this probably will take me a year, but every time I take a little sip, I'm going to remember Scrappy, and like just, I don't know. It's the whole kind of experience out of that. And, I had a conversation with them maybe for like half an hour. Like
damn.
I got their phone numbers. Like one of the ladies' name was Grace, and we exchanged Instagrams. But it was just like talking to them, and like I feel like in those environments, it's like I just like chatting to people because hearing what they're up to and what they're up to. But I also think it's a nice thing to like, I'm from Australia. I'm not American. I'm not from New York. I'm in Harlem skating somewhere I've never skated before, and they're seeing someone. It doesn't probably look like they live in the area. So I think it's nice to approach them to be like, hey, what's up? Like, we're just, wasn't saying like, I guess I was saying like, yeah, we're just skating here and just hanging out, but just be friendly and to like interact and to kind of like show that you're just a regular person as well, even though you know your lives may be completely different, and give them the time of day just to like share something. And for real, like, I mean, I'll remember that like moment probably for the rest of my life.
Totally.
You know, and I even said to Scrappy, like, I was like, you know, I do have your number now, so I think I will probably hit you up every time I take a sip because I'll remember that bottle.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, yo, Scrappy, just hitting the Jameson, just having a good time. You know?
That's sick.
So,
I did not expect that
nice.
story to turn out that way. I thought he like had like a bottle in his back pocket. I'm like, oh, it's kind of sketchy taking like someone's like personal shit, but he went and bought it for you.
Grace, one of the ladies, gave me a whole fresh box of like mixed fruit, beautiful mango, blueberries, kiwi fruit, and she's like, no, you give it to your friends, you enjoy it. And I was like, no, like this is your food, you can't just give this to me, like as in like that's so kind, but I really appreciate it. But you know, she was very nice and insisting, so I was like, all right, you know, this is great. But I opened up, I was like, nah, you gotta have some before I take it over to the boys. So they got some mango and then we all ate it, and it's good.
See, people think New Yorkers are assholes.
That's New York, you know.
People think New Yorkers are assholes, but we're nice people.
Yeah, no, it's a very community city.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, we are assholes, I guess, but we're also nice assholes.
Yeah,
you're very honest, and that's what I like. I think, like, you know, the nature of like being so condensed with so many people kind of like gives off maybe this stereotype or this attitude that everyone is like really hard and like not wanting to interact. But I think it's a byproduct of having to live so close that like you give each other the kind of space, like if you're on the train like really close together or whatnot. But you know, in the right sort of environment, in the right times, like I feel like people are very approachable, and if anything, they're not fake. Like they'll tell you like a yes or a no, you know, they'll tell you exactly what they think, and it's like I really respect that, and I kind of like that attitude that you're not being like there's no like fluff, you know. It's very honest and authentic.
Yeah, I respect that too, and that's a really well put assessment. I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think people here really appreciate individuality, because I've just noticed so many different people just doing like their own thing, and it's just
That's
like
New York.
Yeah, I respect that.
That's why people are so interested to probably talk to you also. They see you're not like like everyone else, and they, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've been getting a lot of comments on like the way that I dress. Just like people pass, like Patrick filmed one this lady the other day. We were in this park up in Harlem, and she was walking by, and she goes, "That was so hot."
No way.
Or something like that. It was, but you know, like someone else is just like,
oh, that's real hot.
Yo, put this
shout out, Ant.
Edited right here.
Ooh, that's really hot.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
it's been really nice just hearing like what people like have to say about that, and you know, I mean, you're not always gonna get positive things, of course, you know.
Yeah.
You speak so highly of New York. Would you ever consider moving here?
This trip has honestly made me consider it.
This is the one?
Like wholeheartedly. Yeah.
It's the Jameson.
Maybe.
No, but I know what you mean about that. Like, if you would have came in February, you might have felt different. But yes, I know what you mean. Like when it's a beautiful time in New York, the interaction.
But
is different.
you know, I was hanging out with Michael D'Andrade and his good friend Hector.
Yeah.
And this was the other day, and like we were talking about that, and I was saying that one of the main things about moving to New York that always kind of like maybe a bit hesitant was because of the winters, and in Australia and Melbourne it doesn't get to the point where it snows or that kind of cold, so I haven't really lived through that. And I love skating all year round, obviously. Yeah. And I think it was Hector who said that it kind of weeds out all the kind of like assholes, I think he said.
No, totally.
In the sense that, like, in the sense that there's so much like people that are always kind of here.
I get the
and
idea.
that like the people that stay through the kind of year are like people who are like committed and who love the
You
kind of
earn
city.
it. You
Because
earn
I
the
could
summer.
imagine
Yeah.
the city is also very transient. You get lots of tourists and like people that come. I don't know. Maybe they've got work stints for like 6 months or something, and it's like, oh shit, better. Sorry to swear, but like, just to like split, you know, kind of like
you can
real
swear
quick,
if you want.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This guy's in New York. He's cursing all the time now.
Hey, get the fuck out of here.
I'm just trying to blend in.